Hello and welcome to Mothering Unedited. I am Sarah Grace Knutson.
And I am Leanne Reyes.
And I am Carmen Wist. And we are bringing you real and raw conversations that honor the mess and the magic of motherhood.
From our radically authentic hearts, we share and discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly about the things that mothers need to talk about most.
To be heard, to be supported, and to be uplifted through authentic, vulnerable connection, so we may all rise together in our motherhood journey. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Mothering Unedited. We are rolling, and we are not going to be editing, so you get us real and raw. And for this episode, our main intention is to introduce ourselves so you know who we are, and so that you can hear a little bit about our vision and our reason for doing this together. Carmen, I would love for you to start and tell us who you are, what you do in the world, and what you're doing here with us.
Perfect. Thank you. My name is Carmen Wist. I am the mother of two kids. I have a 5-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl. My husband and I met when I was really young. We grew up in the same rural community. I wanted to be a mom all of my life, specifically a stay-at-home mom. I grew up on a farm. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, along with helping kind of everywhere around the farm. That's how farm life is, for sure. When I got my dream of being a stay-at-home mom, I realized it wasn't quite what I expected. I expected a lot of things. I didn't expect it to be easy or a walk in a park or anything like that, but I expected to really, really love and cherish it so much. Lots of challenges with my first baby. Changed my views a little bit. I ended up feeling trapped a bit in my own home sometimes, just with a lot of the things that were going on. I remember that moving into my second pregnancy and child, I then felt a little bit more trepidation around it. Was a bit nervous about how it might turn out.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to learn every day to increase my enjoyment with motherhood. Of course, there's the amazing, wonderful moments. And at this time in the past, they seemed overshadowed to me by everything else. Feelings of overwhelm and all of the things that go on when you become a mother. Now I find much more joy in the motherhood journey than I did in the past. And even still, it can take some reminding on my part. I was introduced to belief for patterning in 2018, and I absolutely loved that I was able to learn some simple tools that I could use to increase my vibration and my positivity, even if I forgot sometimes. These tools are now always there for me to go back to, which is amazing. And in 2022, an opportunity presented itself for me to move into becoming a belief practitioner. And I took that opportunity for sure. So I'm definitely a woman of many hats. I am a photographer. I have been a photographer for over 18 years. I'm a belief practitioner. I also offer raindrop technique, which is a bodywork technique that incorporates essential oils and Vitaflex points, which are similar to reflexology points. I also offer the vibrational raindrop technique, which is all of those things, and also adds in tuning forks, crystals, and colored lights. So I'm like, these things fill my soul. I absolutely love them. Some other things about me: I love to learn. I love animals. You may or may not see a cat on camera, at least one. We have 5 pets. We have 4 cats right now and a dog, so lots going on here. I'm an introvert. I love reading. I love puzzles, music, and being creative in many different ways. I currently live in the city and my heart is on the farm. The family farm is still in the family and I love to visit. And my husband, like I said, is also from that rural area, so we get to visit quite often. And that's another thing that really fills my soul and my family's soul. When I was first approached about moving into the podcast space, a bit nervous to say the least. I didn't really know what I would have to offer in the space of mothering because sometimes I still struggle with the connection to it. But then I realized that if I'm feeling that way, there's probably a lot of others that are also feeling this way. And it might be important to share my perspective and also learn and grow along with these other two beautiful ladies, as I know we each bring a wonderfully different perspective to the mothering journey. I loved the idea of mothering unedited, as I find myself sometimes feeling disconnected with the world when I see on social media, kind of always seems to be rainbows and butterflies when it comes to being a mom, and I want to speak the truth. I want to talk about the real things that happen. And it is my intention to share challenges, talk about solutions and moving forward, and to celebrate accomplishments and soak in those beautiful, amazing moments and hang on to that feeling for as long as I can and help everyone else do that too. So that is me.
Amazing.
And yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
You're very welcome. And now it's Leanne's turn to introduce herself.
Thank you, Carmen. That was lovely. Thank you for sharing all of your true self. So I had just written this down and it seems perfect to share at this moment before I start introducing me. And I just wrote down, like, I'm not sure, and I haven't shared it with these beautiful ladies, but this is my intention for the podcast, is that it's not for us to be all knowing. It is to sit here in a safe place and claim what I don't know yet and find connection in this and walk this path together of learning and to feel connected. So I think that what Carmen said, like, just pulled all of that together. So yeah, instead of being all knowing, it's about learning and walking together on this path. So that was my line. So my name is Leanne Reyes, and I am so happy to be part of this beautiful threesome of women here. This title is very dear to my heart because I have often just shared the edited version with lots of people. And so only a few people get the real story, because yes, as Carmen had said, like, we don't really get into these difficult, real and raw conversations, because if someone asks you how you are, you're saying, oh yeah, sure, good, right? So I recently grabbed onto my core values, and that has helped me to stand firmly in my shoes and move forward. My core values are authentic, honor, connection, and innovation. So I am also happy to claim that I recently turned 50 and I am owning this path. So along with these core values and owning 50, I need to own the mess so that I can embrace and witness and feel the magic. So that's kind of interweaving all of this mess and magic, but I was only focusing on the magic, and I wasn't acknowledging, or I wasn't connected to my feelings. I was running around for the first 6 or 7 years as a mama, and I was scared and I was overwhelmed and I was nervous and I was living in scarcity. And I wasn't having any fun, and neither was my beautiful girl. And a physiotherapist I was working with my daughter, who was delayed in gross motor and fine motor, she came up to me and whispered, Leanne, if you do not learn how to calm down, you're going to create anxiety in your daughter. So that was a perfect slap in my face and a jolt of awareness of how I'm showing up and do I want to continue. So I was very unaware of myself. It was on the downside. And so that began my awareness journey. And along the way, I found belief repatterning. And it helped me, gave me a tool that I could choose to use to decide if I was going to be on the downside or the upside. And of course, I'm not always on the upside, and maybe if I'm all the way on the downside, I'm not going to get all the way to the upside, but at least I could just ease that feeling of scared and overwhelmed. So this has changed my path and my family's path, and I am so grateful for this tool and to find a community of people where we can talk about these things and be real and raw and acknowledge that this is sometimes that there's hard in this. So that's why all this matters to me. And I am on a mission to live an inspired and meaningful life. And here I am as a belief repatterning practitioner, and I also have a Reiki background and a sociology degree, and I'm feeling my way forward. So that is my story. I think I have addressed quite a few parts of who I might be, and as this goes on, we will, find out more about each other. I think that's all I have to say right now.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Leanne. I seriously have had tingles the entire time that both of you guys have been talking, and it's been really hard for me to not just jump in and be like, yes, thank you so much for saying all of these things. But I kept it together. I'm waiting my turn.
It was very beautiful, Leanne. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for all of this beautiful authenticity and all of this. I mean, I'm at the point in my journey where I'm really, really seeing that the magic is in the authenticity and it ain't gonna come from anywhere else. So I'm so excited about what we're doing here, but let me back up. I'm Sarah Grace Knutson. I am a mother of 2 and another on the way. We're recording this in September of 2024. Number 3 will be here by January of 25. And the 2 that I have Earthside already are 5 and 7, 5-year-old girl, 7-year-old boy. And I am undertaking the interesting journey of homeschooling them while running a business from home. And it is a trip. It is some of the most challenging and some of the most rewarding experiences of my life. And much of the time, I feel like I'm operating in survival mode and that living in chaos and everything's just kind of everywhere. And at the same time, I wouldn't trade it for the world. So I am a little bit different than the 2 of you in that I actually came to my belief repatterning journey prior to having children, or sort of along the same timeline as beginning to have children. I knew Suze, who people will hear us talk about as the developer of belief repatterning, all the way back into my teenage years, and knew what she was doing, and I thought it was cool and interesting, but it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I was like, wait a second, this is the way to go, and I wanted to become a practitioner. So I decided to become a practitioner about 9 years ago, and then instantly that I started my training, I also became pregnant. And so I did my training and my practicum, and I birthed babies and was nursing them on my calls, and basically those 2 elements of my life birthed at the same time. So I haven't had any part of my parenting journey that wasn't being assisted by the beautiful technique that we have at our fingertips. So my journey has been more about like how do I run a practitioner business and homeschool my kids at the same time? And along with all of the challenges that come with our wonderful, exceptional children. And so it was just like 3 really big hats that I'm wearing as practitioner, teacher, and mom. And just finding balance in all of that. And sometimes it's insanely hard. And sometimes it is so rewarding that, like I said before, I wouldn't trade it for the world. So my intention here with you two and all of our listeners is to really just give us all the space to feel what's real, to honor what's real for us and what's real. I mean, if any emotion is happening in any of us, then like you said, Carmen, has to be happening for somebody else too. And if any of the conversations that we have between the 3 of us, or extended out into the community, if any of these conversations can help somebody else to feel more at peace with their journey, then I feel like we've done what we're here for. And it matters to me because I want to see mothers thriving. I want to see everybody thriving, but I really want to see mothers thriving because we deserve to be thriving. And there's so many ways in the world, without wanting to hark on the quote unquote negative, there's so many in the ways in the world that we kind of get, how I don't want to say the short end of the stick, but just not quite recognized for the grand amount of what we actually do. And that's not to discount the role of fathers or any other caregiver in a child's life. But as mothers, I feel like we really need to be lifted up, and we really need to be like linking arms and linking wings and being with each other in order to rise up into like the truth of who we are. Because when we get to be who we are, instead of drowning in survival mode, when we get to be who we are, then we get to actually set model for our children what it means to show up and shine in the world. And we're going to do it better if we do it together. So that's why this podcast matters to me. Yeah.
I would just like to add that, as you said, that when we know our worth, then we're modeling for our children, and then we can help them, and we're not lost in all the muddle. We can help them find their brilliance. So that's why, because that's our main goal, is to be able to see and observe what they might be interested in, or where their light is, and help them expand it.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you. And recognizing that many mothers have forgotten their own brilliance. And so let's remind each other how absolutely amazing and miraculous and brilliant we all are. Beautiful.
Yes. Beautifully said. No matter where we're coming from as well.
No matter where. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got beautiful, sparkling light inside, and we are meant to be sharing it with the world, and we are meant to be sharing it with our children. And it might be a journey to get there, but like I just said, if we're doing it together, then we're going to have much better chances. So
absolutely.
So that's
Thank
what
you,
we're
Sarah.
doing here.
Yes.
Our intention with this episode has been really to just be an introduction to who we are as individuals and what our intention is today. Do you, Carmen and Leanne, feel that we have done that?
I really do.
Is there anything else that anybody would like to add before we close up for this episode?
I would just love to add that you might hear us talk about how we pick a word for the day or a word for a session. And that's really just us picking an uplifting word for the day or the session or for whatever situation. And it was interesting listening to you talk, Sarah, because I heard you talk about balancing, and actually the word that I picked this morning was balanced. So I thought that was
Awesome.
very in line.
I love one of the most beautiful things about picking the word of the day is waiting for it to show up from other
Yeah.
people. It's kind of like that when you buy a blue car, then you start seeing blue cars everywhere. It's like training your mind. And so I was your balance blue car today.
You were. Thank you.
Leanne, do you have anything else you'd like to share today?
Yes, I want to share my word too.
Awesome.
So I was, wanting to pick a word for, doing this podcast today, the recording. And what was interesting is that my word that I was moving towards was lesson on the upside, and the word that I was moving away from was plight. And so plight is like the difficult journey. So I have had in the past the focus of the past and how difficult things are. And so instead of doing that, I'm choosing to look at the lessons that I have and also continue to learn more lessons. So that was my word for today. And I look forward to talking more about belief repatterning as it interweaves in our lives and how we can apply it to mothering and how it has helped me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I feel like I should share my word, but I have to be honest that I didn't actually pick one this morning. This morning was the very first day of swimming lessons for both my kids. And so it was kind of one of those get up, get everybody fed, get out the door. And then I was running around until 20 minutes before we sat down to record. And I don't have a word. And that's totally okay today. I
You
love
can share mine.
Okay, balance sounds amazing to me, and it's perfect then that I used it. So I'm just going to take some of Carmen's balance word and sprinkle it on me. And from here, I would just like to invite everybody to make sure that you tune in for our next episode, which will be released very soon after this one, which is about new beginnings and it being September and everybody's starting school. And even I don't have kids going to school, but we're starting a new season. And I feel like September is very honoring of new beginnings and at the same time sort of the closing of the summer, so it cycles. And we're just going to have a beautiful conversation about how all of that stuff is rolling in our lives, and hopefully it touches some of your lives in a beautiful way. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much for joining us today on Mothering Unedited. We are so grateful to have you here with us and are excited to connect with you in whatever way works for you, whether that's through one-on-one coaching or exploring the other works we have created and continue to offer mothers, parents, and the world. Follow us on Instagram at mothering_unedited. To find out more or connect further with any of us, you'll find Sarah at soul-birth.ca, Leanne at coachingwithleanne, that's LEANNE.org, and Carmen at carmenwiste, CarmenWiste.com. Until next time, may you find your brave to share your unedited authenticity and honor yourself through the mess and the magic of motherhood.